Hello all, welcome back to the channel, and today's topic of discussion here is the basic commands of Docker. Okay, so we have seen Docker container, we have seen Docker images and Docker file. Now we will look upon some of the basic commands of Docker which we generally use in our day-to-day work. So let's say if we see the first command is images. Okay, so whatever container we build, right, Docker container is all of those are run from or originated from an image, right? So those are basically a live version of that particular image. So let's say let me open my terminal. Yeah, so if I clear it, just zoom it a bit. Yeah, so what I'll do, I'll first do Docker images. So as you can see here in my screen, I have three images locally available in my system. So it is listing out all the three images in my system. So as we have seen here, Docker images command is to list all the images that are locally stored. Okay, so whatever images you have pulled in the past, or whatever images was pulled as part of some other Docker container, so those will be those which are available in your system as locally, those will be listed out by using this command. So the command is Docker space images. So similarly we have done Docker space images, and it says the Docker images name, the repository, basically the name of the image, then the tag, and the version. Basically if we have mentioned some version while building it, then it will show that version, or else it will show the latest tag by default. Then the image ID, the time created 5 minutes ago, and then size of that particular image. Okay, so all of these details it will show. So let us go to the next command. Next command is ps. So ps is basically refers to process. So whenever we run a Docker image as a container, so those containers are basically nothing more than a process in our host system, right? It's just that those processes are maintained by Docker engine. So ps command is used to list all the running containers by default. Okay, so whatever containers our system is actively running right now, those containers will be listed out by using this command. So if you run Docker space ps, it will list out all the running containers. If you want to see the containers which we have just stopped and those were running earlier, then we have to use -a tag along with the Docker ps command, so that it will list out all the other stopped containers as well. So let's see. So if I do Docker ps, it says that right now there is only one container which is running actively, and that is Spring Boot Docker demo. Okay, and it will list out all the details, the container ID, the Docker image name, the command which is used to run this particular, that is the entry point of this particular container, then the time created, status, it is up for from 16 minutes, then ports, which port of Docker is exposed to which port of host machine. So here 8080 is the port which is running inside the Docker container, and 8081 is the port of the host machine which is mapped to the 8080 port. And names, which is by default it will give, in Docker engine will give a random name. Okay, so this is how we look upon the active containers list. So if you want to look upon the list of the stopped containers, then we'll have to do Docker ps -a. So it will list out the running containers as well as the containers which have stopped recently. Okay, so all these are exited, right? So it means these containers exist, but those are not in runnable state. Okay, so this is how Docker ps command works. So the next command is build command. So build command is basically used to create a Docker image from a Docker file. So we have our Docker file in our system and we want to create an image out of it, then we will use this Docker build command. Okay, so the command of this particular build is Docker space build space -t, then image name, and if you want to give a tag, you can give it as :tag and space period. So period here specifies that the command, the directory from where you are running the command, the Docker file is available in that directory itself. If it is not present in that directory, then you have to give the path of the Docker file which you want to build. Okay, so let's see it in action. So right now, if I clear the screen and if I do an let's see ls, so as you can see here, I have this Docker file present in this directory. So let me see the Docker file content. Cat. Yeah, so it says from OpenJDK 8, JDK Alpine, then work directories Spring-app, then copy all the contents, and then the entry point which will basically run this application or it will start the Spring Boot application. So this is the content of our Docker file. Let me clear it all and let me run this docker build command to build this image. So right now I have that image already built, so I'll try to give it another name. So docker space build -t, then I'll give something like spring sample demo, okay, and space dot. So what it will do, so it has created it very fast because the image is already been created, and you can see, right, it is using the cache basically. So since this image is already built, I have built it previously, so it is not actually going and running this actual command. It is just reusing this cache, which is reusing the information which is available in Docker Engine cache, right? So it is reusing this for the step 2. This is reusing the copy content for step 3, and similarly for step 4 as well. So that's how it built this image very fast. So this is the image which we just built right now. So if we want to see this particular image list, then we have to do docker images, right? So as you can see, it has Spring Boot docker demo, which was the previous image, and this is the image which we have built just right now. So spring sample demo, okay. So as you can see, both the image ID of these two images are same because both the images are built from the same docker file, right? And that's why the name is different, but the image ID is basically the same. So whenever we want to run this particular image as container, it will automatically refer to the same image ID, okay. So no matter what image we run, it will run the same image at the end, because both of the images having the same content, as the docker file was same for running or for building those images. So this is how docker build command works. Then the next step is docker run. So right now we have seen how to list out docker images, then we have seen the processes, listing out of processes, then we have built a docker image from a docker file. Now after docker image is built, we have to run it as a container. So docker run command is basically to run an image as a container, and more than that, it also specifies various configurations while running that as a container. So if you want to override some of the configurations, some of the environment variable which you have mentioned while in docker file while building that image, you can override those variables or those configurations while running this docker run command, okay. So the basic docker run command is docker run space image name, okay. And the one which we will see right now is slightly different because we have a Spring application as an docker image, so we want to specify the port so that we can access that Spring application. So that's how, if you see this example section, we have this docker run -d -p 8081:8080 spring -demo -docker. So spring -demo -docker is the image name, then 8081:8080 is a way to specify which port of docker container is mapped to which port of host system. So the right hand side port 8080 is the port of docker container. So the Spring application which is running inside the docker container will be exposing a docker 8080 port, right? And we want to access that API. So we have to map this 8080 port of docker container to the 8081 port of docker host system, so that we can actually connect to that API and get the response. And this -p tag is to use to map these ports. -d is basically to run this container in a detached mode. So whenever we run this container without -d tag, it will dump all the container logs in the same terminal. If you want to make a terminal clean, we can run this container as in a background process, and we can very well go into that container and we can check the logs of the container later. So let's go and see. Let me just clear the screen, and if I see right now I am having a container running, okay. So this is the same image which we just built with a different name, and this is running in port 8081, okay. So let me see what was the docker image which we just created, okay. So we have created this spring sample demo. I'll copy that and I'll try to run this -d -p, then I'll try to run it in 8081 port itself, okay. Let's see what happens, and I'll give the name. So as soon as I run this command, so since 8081 is already being used by another container, right? So this says error response from daemon, driver failed programming external connectivity on endpoint, because the port is already allocated, and this port cannot be used because another Docker container is already running and mapped to the same port. So if you want to run this particular image as a container, we have to provide another port number. So let's say we provide the port as 8082, and then as you can see, it has listed down the container ID which is running right now, and we can see in the process area that we have two applications running, two containers running. One was running previously, and this is the one which we have just started, this container. So if you want to access this container API, we have to go to Postman. We have to invoke the API with port as 8082. Okay, so let me just open the Postman and I'll try to invoke this. So this is the API which is present in that application. So right now I'm invoking an API which is an 8081 port, and it is giving me a result back, right? So let me just change it as the name as, let's say, stack for tech, and I'll change the port number as 8082. So our container which we just created is running on 8082. So we'll just invoke it, and it says hello stack for tech from Docker. So this application is working in Docker container. So this is how Docker run commands work. Okay, and one more thing I wanted to actually highlight here is when you install your Docker in your system, right, whether in Windows or in Mac, you will install most probably the Docker desktop. And if you go to Docker desktop, you will be having this Docker dashboard section, dashboard options in your drop down menu. If you click on that, it will ask you to download. So it's better to download because it's a UI kind of space where you can actually see that what are the containers which is running right now. So as you can see here, so I am running two containers, one in 8081 port and one is in 8082 port. So you can very well go inside these containers and you can see the logs. Okay, and whatever container you want to go, and you can just look into it. So this is a very nice way to look into Docker containers, a UI kind of way, right? So let me go back to the slide. Yeah, so after Docker run command, the next command is stop. So now we know how to build an image from a Docker file, how to run that image as a container. Now we have to know a command to actually stop a container which we don't want to run more often. So the command for this is docker space stop and then the container ID. So how do we get the container ID? To get container ID, we can always run docker ps command, which will list out all the active running container, and we can pick out the container ID from those result of those command, and we can do docker stop and then container ID. So let us go and see that. So let me run docker ps. It will list out there are two Docker containers which are running. I want to remove this container, okay, right here. So what I'll do, I'll copy this particular ID, okay, container ID. I'll do a docker stop and paste the container ID and enter. So if I do a docker ps again, it says okay, that container is already stopped and there is only one active container right now. And if you want to cross check whether that is stopped or not, what we can do is docker ps -a, which will list out the recent one which we just have stopped is, okay, as you can see 14 seconds ago we have stopped it, right? So this has exited, and the only one container which is running is right now is Spring Sample demo. So this is a way to stop a running container. Okay, then the next command is remove one or more container. Okay, so we have stopped the container, but these containers are still available as part of those stop processes, right? And if you want to stop a container as well as remove it from the local system, then you can use rm command directly. So if you do docker rm-f then container ID, it will stop the container as well as it will remove it from the list. So if you go here and I'll clear it. So let me see docker ps. Right now we are having only one container, so let me just grab this container ID, and what I'll do is I'll do docker and rm and -f and then container ID. So docker rm means remove this container, and -f is forcefully, okay, and this is the container ID. So if I hit enter, it says it has removed, right? So let me just go and see docker ps. It has removed, nothing is actively running. And if I do docker ps -a, okay, so here we can see the exited as this one was exited. Then we cannot see this one, okay, this one which was exited right which we have just removed it, because it has removed it from the Docker, from the local system as well. So we will not see. So if I want to remove this particular Docker container, we can grab this container ID, and what we can do is we can go ahead, we can do docker rm -f and then container ID, and it is removed. So if I do docker case -a, you will not see Spring Boot Docker in there. So this is how we can remove a container which is actively running or which is stopped. Then after container, there is one thing which is images, right? So whenever we create images, it installs all those dependencies, libraries, and all the other stuff, and it has a size, right? So if we see in here, so if I do a docker images, so it says the size of the images, right? And if you calculate all of these 4 images, most probably it will go beyond, like one image is is small, it kind of like in MBs, or some images, if it has a hell lot of libraries and dependencies installed, it might go up to 1 GB also. But in your local system, if you're having lots of Docker images, then your local system space will be, resources will be used up, right, to store this local images. And if you don't want to use any Docker images, if you're not using a certain Docker image, then it's no point in keeping that Docker image in your local system. You can very well push it to your Docker Hub registry, which is remotely existing there, and you can very well pull it anytime you want in your local system. So there is no point of keeping this unused or dangling Docker images in your local system. So for that particular purpose, we have this rmi command, which is basically used to remove one or more images from your local system. So the command is similar to the docker remove command. It's just that instead of rm, you will have rmi, and instead of container id, you will have to give the image name. Okay, so let's say I want to remove this particular image, because this was created earlier and I don't want to use this image in future. So it's better to free 123 MB than to be wasted, right? So let me just do docker rmi -f and then the image name. Okay, it says that untagged Spring Boot Docker demo latest, so it is untagged, and if I do docker images now, we will not be able to see that particular image in our local system. Okay, so it has removed this from local system. So this is how docker images rmi works. So these are all the basic commands which we will use very often while interacting or while doing docker configuration or while working with Docker. So there are more advanced command as well, like volume related, network related, environment variable configurations related, then docker inspect command, and there are other Docker commands, but those are not so frequently used. So there are much more Docker commands, advanced commands, but we are not looking into this video. We will surely cover it in some other video or while doing network and volume videos. So till then, stay tuned and do hit and like subscribe button if you like my content. Bye bye.